Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be checking out Punisher 2099 upgrades, and first I definitely have to note that I didn't expect to get that much changed about him, because they had these like tune-ups, buffs and complete overhauls is how they characterized how the champions are going to get updated. Tune-ups being the lowest one, where they do the least amount of work to the champion. They only change about the numbers, and as a baseline kind of like expectation, we were given Human Torch and Ebony Maw. And both of them have gone through tune-ups, and both of those tune-ups were completely irrelevant for pretty much all intents and purposes. Human Torch is effectively still as good as he was. The change was barely noticeable as far as I'm concerned, and Ebony Maw is as useless as he ever was. However, with Punisher 2099, he actually gets pretty much all of his numbers updated, and quite significantly at that, and it will definitely be extremely interesting to see how much it adds up to total damage output and total viability as a champion. Because even as much as a year ago, long before roadmap was a thing, I mentioned that Punisher 2099 alongside, let's say, Cable and a few other champions are actually really well designed champions that I think have a lot to offer. It's just they have been absolutely butchered by the numbers that they were given, because the ability kits are there. Like in case of Punisher, you have access to armor breaks, you have access to reducing opponent's power by 90%, which is huge. Then you can heal block them, you can power lock them, then there's basically a lot of stuff happening with the champion. It's just the problem is whatever he's able to do was not worth doing, because it all was inconsequential for very tiny numbers. Now, hopefully, that will change and Punisher will actually be a viable champion. Right, so let's go through the changes one by one, and then I'm going to discuss how I think it's going to impact him overall. Let's start with the first one, increased base attack and armor rating. That is a very simple one, just more damage and a bit more sustainability flat out. Not a bad thing at all. Now the second one, battery now starts at 40% and charges faster. Delay reduced to every 3.5 seconds and increased charge rate. Opponents with 0.1 plus 2 buffs. So basically, if opponents have many buffs, he charges battery faster, and overall he already gets to charge his battery faster compared to what it was. And battery is Punisher's core mechanic, and it took far too long to build up, and it drained down far too quickly, which was ultimately kind of like the main reason the champion just didn't work. So this is very significant change to him. It will help him ramp up quicker. He's going to be already able to activate plenty of his abilities from get-go now, even if he's unawakened. And that definitely will help him a lot. Now we have increasing starting charge bonus from signature ability. That's cool. So he's going to be able to get even more battery. And realistically, if you synergize with him, probably start at like 80-90% battery. And therefore able to enter his overdrive mode extremely quickly, which is kind of like his, I don't know, Phoenix Overload mode, or I don't know, Namor's Imperial Rex version. Basically kind of like when a champion actually shines, right? So that is huge. And then we have now signature ability now activates only when an opponent hits 3 bars of power. I actually do not really recall when else it is activated, but that is the best point for it to be active, because that is ultimately how you want to use his signature ability, and that will also ultimately let Punisher kind of work like what the best way to describe it, semi-power control champion immediately, because for many occasions the main goal for you to use power control champion is to avoid opponent from hitting 3 bars of power in particular. Let's say all or nothing node, or I don't know, Hyperion and stuff like that. And Punisher's ability to power lock opponents when they hit 3 bars of power has always been useful, because it activated automatically. It means you do not have to have an effect activated, you do not have to be, I don't know, in the middle of your combo striking the opponent or whatever. Basically, whenever, no matter what's happening in the fight, they're not going to get 3 bars of power, they're not going to drop a level 3 on you if you have battery. and I think that alone will, with the increase in damage, make Punisher kind of quite usable, at the very least, kind of like middle of the pack champion, because that already is significant amount of utility. Also, automatic heal block duration increased from 8 seconds to 10 seconds, and battery drain reduced from 20% to 15%. This obviously is good. Ultimately, all of these changes are good, but I don't think this is going to be too significant, because 2-second extra duration is nice, but it's not like a major change. It's just another thing that's slowly, well, not slowly, but it's like minorly improved about the character. And hopefully all the combination of all of these abilities getting improved will make him feel like a completely different champion. And anything that reduces your battery for less is super helpful, because that was the quickest way how to lose the momentum of the fight, is activating all of these abilities when you might not necessarily want to or have to, and just having your battery automatically drained fully flat, basically. Now we have automatic regeneration, maximum possible healing increase from 20% to 35%. So that's great. That heal has never bothered anyone, and it has never healed back significant amount. So again, it's another thing that might not be major for the champion, but overall will definitely help him. Automatic power drain, power lock, power drain amount increased from 5% of max power to 15%. This again is nice, especially considering the fact that once you enter that overload mode, you give opponent 90% reduced power. So before, when you only drained 5% of their max power, you really couldn't even strike them much at all, even if they were receiving 90% less power, because they would still get those 3 bars power. Now with 15% away from their level 3, basically, you will still have more room to maintain your aggression if you are in your like overload mode. So yeah, that is a bigger change that it seems initially, especially combined with the fact that it will reduce your battery by less percent. Heavy attack stun battery drainage reduced from 15% to 10%. Now I think this is also going to be quite major for the champion, because one of the cool things that Punisher was always able to do, and where you could have a significant amount of fun with him, was build up the battery and start spamming your heavy attacks. You drain 15% of your battery, but as long as you had those 15% to drain, you had a guaranteed chance to stun the opponent, and effectively you could just stun loop the opponents by dropping your heavy attacks in corner. And simply by removing that cost, and that cost is removed significantly. It's removed, it's reduced by 33% there. So it means that you will be able to extend your heavy attack stun chain loop longer, which again is going to be one thing that just works much better and will kind of like allow him to overextend for longer and deal much more damage whilst you overextend with Punisher. So I think that is a big change for the champion. Overdrive now drains battery more slowly, which is a huge change, because battery expires very quickly on Punisher, especially as you are triggering the rest of the abilities. So yeah, that I think is also extremely beneficial, but we're gonna have to see how it actually feels when it comes and flows together, whether you will feel as if though you actually have battery that lasts a while. Overdrive attack bonus now gives 150% attack rating for the entire duration of Overdrive. I do not know exactly how big that attack bonus was previously, but I do know that the previous attack bonus was connected to the level of your battery. So basically, if you started, let's say, with 100% attack bonus previously, as you were activating your abilities, the attack bonus was going down significantly. And now having this 150% increased attack rating for the entire duration of Overdrive should increase the damage output overall by quite a lot, especially considering with the changes to the armor breaks from his special attacks. Special 2, but we're gonna get to that in a second. Special 1 battery charge gain increased from 16% over 8 seconds to 20% over 10 seconds, so you gain slightly more battery there. So that's cool. I wish this change was a bit bigger. But still, any bit helps. Beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Now we have Special 2, and Special 2 is changed quite significantly. So we have reduced the battery drain from 20% to 15%, so that's great. So you consume less battery, and all of these abilities drain your battery, but remember you're also gaining battery charges over time naturally, so that's quite important note. But anyway, so you consume 15% battery now. Critical rating bonus increased from 30% to 40%. That's not too big there, but again, a slight damage increase. Duration of armor break from grenade launcher increased from 10 seconds to 15 seconds, which is a massive increase, which is a 50% duration increase. Armor reduction from armor break increased from 50% to 60% and can now stack. And the fact that it can stack, I think, is going to be quite useful, because you should get a position where you're basically in overdrive, nearly at 3 bars of power. Drop your level 2, opponent will have 90% reduced combat power rate, so you can be extremely aggressive, extending with dashback intercepts, I don't know, dropping heavy, no, you don't want to drop heavy attacks, but basically just being very, very aggressive, get your special 2 and stack up your second armor break. And with the fact that your attack increase from overdrive is now locked in 150%, you should actually be able to hit quite hard. So that actually gives me hope for the champion. I don't think he's obviously going to be at top of the tech class, but I do think that he will definitely be viable mid-tier champion, maybe even kind of like preferred choice for some matchups perhaps, who knows. And then we have special 3 reduced battery drainage from 50% to 40%, change degeneration type with added effects, damage increase from 200% of attack to 220%, duration increase from 10 to 20 seconds. Now, special 3 is pretty much never the way I personally have played Punisher with. I just find it kind of like too much for too little. Maybe the damage change, because the degen damage increase now is going to be quite big, because not only you deal more damage and drain less power, but it lasts twice as long. So effectively, special 3 degen will deal 2.5 times more damage or something like that. So that is quite big change there for level 3, but still I doubt it's going to be kind of like preferred way of playing the champion. Cross-training synergy with Punisher upgraded. Punisher 2099 starting power meter increased from 20% to 25%, and Furies and bleed accuracy increased from 20 to 25%. So this is, again, minor buff. I don't think it's quite vital. It obviously helps to speed things along a bit, but it's not going to be the major kind of like game-changing synergy, especially because Punisher is not exactly a champion many people have as a 5-star. Now we have loyal Minister synergy with Captain America upgraded. The amount of starting battery increased from plus 15 to plus 25%. Now that's huge, considering that you already had the 40% increase now by default. You're going to have signature ability increase plus this 25%. So you're going to be able to start at nearly maxed out battery. And again, once you enter overdrive, opponents have 90% reduced combat power rate. So I think that could potentially be the scenario where Punisher 2099 shines, because you gain battery over time. So given if you're able to start at, let's say, 90% battery with this energy active, you have to stall for a while, or at the worst case, let's say, get to your level 1. And then opponents will have 90% reduced power rate basically from the beginning of the fight. And that is very unique mechanic, where you will kind of have like that Medusa effect for period of time, where opponents gain absolutely no power or close to no power. So that could actually give him some sort of relevance in actual hard content if you have him ranked up or whatever. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to checking out how it works and how quickly he can enter that overdrive. Because that overdrive mode with 90% reduced power rate plus 150% attack increase does sound quite crazy, to be honest. And then we have Captain America gains more attack rating from 15% to 20% while the opponent's under the effects of stun or fatigue debuff. Captain America World War II and Captain America Infinity War added to the synergy. Bleed effects also now trigger the effects in addition to fatigue and stun. And now this is the most major change for the champion as well, to become actually relevant, because not only the synergies matter, but also what champions are the synergies with. And previously, realistically, nobody would bring in Captain America in Act 6 to boost that Punisher 2099, who was a bad champion. And even if Punisher 2099 at any given point were to become, let's say, quote unquote, decently good middle of the pack champion, you wouldn't pick 2 team slots of bad or mediocre champions to kind of like achieve mediocre results. Now, the fact that he synergized with Captain America Infinity War, who is one of the best champions in Science Class, is a very huge change for the synergy, and automatically kind of like makes it much more realistic for the champion and for the synergy to be used in actual kind of like Act 6 scenario. Now, Hell Hydra synergy with Red Skull upgraded. Red Skull's heal block duration increased from 7.5 to 9 seconds. Punisher's debuff duration increased from plus 50 to plus 60%. And this could have quite interesting implications with that armor break, because that armor break does have quite long duration over there, and now it's able to stack, so it could potentially push his damage output higher. But realistically, again, Red Skull is not quite the champion you will use quite often. And added a couple of basic synergies with Dr. Doom and Guillotine 2099, which are just your basic stat synergies. Nemesis, I think, is the critical damage rating, and Teammates is either armor or perfect block chance, or one of those. So it's nothing too significant there. It's neat, but it's nothing too huge. Overall, it does look quite interesting. Obviously, since we knew that he's not going to change a major overhaul for the champion, and he's just going to get numbers upgrades, I think this is pretty much the best case scenario, because every other change to the champion either increases his damage or reduces the battery usage or increases the battery, well, rate and charge rate. So that's pretty much all that he needed, I think. And now, in my opinion, this is going to be how he should have entered the contest, and he might have a fighting chance to actually see some catalysts from people and see some actual use. So it definitely does look quite promising, and I have relatively high expectations, to be honest. Like I might see him as like a decent tech champion if it all comes together, because all of these tiny bits add up quite together. Some of those changes are quite significant, some of them less so, but the fact that absolutely everything about champion gets improved should quite significantly help this poor Noodle hands, and remove the noodles from his hands, I guess. But yeah, that is it for today. The video is quite long already. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about how viable is he going to be? Is this a good buff? Did you expect more? Are you surprised by the amount that Kabam is doing? But yeah, that is me done for now, and I'm going to catch you guys soon. See ya.